And we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our regular Sunday live chats. Lovely to see everybody. Christopher, Mr. 80, Diagnostic. Welcome. Yo to you as well, buddy. Quick video today, guys. We're just going to chat about shelf dates, pre-orders, in hand, stuff like that, because that was just something that sort of came up in the last little bit that we haven't really talked about. We've talked about, Hasbro doing their that's Mrs. 80 to you. Well, I apologize. I never mean to offend by using the wrong pronouns, so I will keep that in mind next time. We have mentioned kind of that worst case scenario dating that Hasbro has been using, but we haven't really chatted about what that means in terms of actual in hand, on the shelf, in your mailbox, however your classified figures are delivered to you. And so I just thought it was kind of like maybe something interesting to sort of dig into a little bit. I know that I think within the last week, possibly two, a bunch of people got emails. Now, this is, to the best of my knowledge, only people that pre-ordered the Crocmaster from Big Bad Toy Store and or Hasbro Pulse. And they got an email that said it's been delayed till, I believe it was September. And then there was some GameStop stuff that sort of had already changed the date to September-ish, if I'm not mistaken. But this is absolutely what I'm talking about, right? It's a bloody free-for-all when it comes to release dates. I think you're right, but the sort of, I guess it's the silver lining that I want to talk about. So the thing that but we'll get to that. What I wanted to say is that it seems a little bit of a stretch to me to think that we won't see these figures before September. And the reason that I say that is I've heard from more than one retailer that they haven't heard anything like that. And then sort of couple that with the fact that there are in-hand accounts already. So there's already people that have got figures in hand. News sources are sort of posting with some credibility, that people are finding things like Crocmaster in hand. alternatively, we're certainly starting to show or starting to see, like, this is Robo from the Foosh did an in-hand review video. We're not going to watch the video for you know, probably copyright infringement reasons or stuff like that. But it's basically to say that the figures are out there. It's not that the figures aren't out there. It's that I think people are hedging their bets in terms of like safely assuming when sort of everyone will have them. Um, and I think I do think there's a bit of padding from Hasbro and so on when it comes to this stuff. Worst case scenario sort of dates that haven't been changed yet. Yes, so I think they're essentially like setting dates that allow for the distribution to sort of take its course, so that we're not seeing the figures show up one place 2 months ahead of when they show up in another place. I think that's essentially what we're seeing, and that's hopefully what we're seeing. And so my speculation with the Big Bad Toy Store thing and the Hasbro Pulse thing is actually more that Big Bad Toy Store knows when their container is going to be shipped and is going to arrive to them. And I think very much that Pulse is, and this is, for everything. I think this is true of Hasbro Pulse in general. Hasbro Pulse is sort of an extension of Hasbro. Hasbro is selling to these major retailers like Target, Walmart, to a significantly lesser extent, Big Bad Toy Store or something like that. And, if word gets out in a way, right, that Hasbro Pulse will be the first one to deliver, then it's essentially Hasbro shooting themselves in the foot in some respect, because they're not trying to compete with the retailers in a way. They're trying to supplement the retailers. So they are trying to get people to buy through normal retail avenues, apart from obviously the Pulse exclusives or what have you. But even a lot of those end up showing up through certain retailers. And I think I think Big Bad probably reached out to Hasbro and said, "Look, we're not going to get our container until this date." And Hasbro Pulse sent out essentially the same email to the people that had ordered from them. And I think it's just Hasbro doesn't want their figures getting out to customers before Big Bad Toy Store customers get their product. That's my honest opinion, based purely on speculation. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know any of that to be true. That's purely speculation on my part. But that's purely sort of speculation based on the idea that Hasbro doesn't want to offend their buyers, essentially. We've sort of chatted about it before, right? It's like Target is their number one Target or Walmart, one or the other, I don't know. And they could be tied for first, give or take, let's just say. And then the Big Bad Toy Stores, the Entertainment Earths, the Dork Sides, whatever's kind of second. And then the Canadian retailers are probably third, but they're ordered through Hasbro Canada anyway. So it's not even quite the same. But Mike at eCollectibles works really, really hard to get the figures as quickly as he can and sort of to stay ahead of that curve. It's not always possible just because of logistics and stuff like that. But I know that, like, if everybody could get their figures another route, he'd be less inclined to order extra. He'd be less inclined to buy more product. So it's essentially like Hasbro as a brand kind of holding back a little bit. So that's why I think that email went out. But I also think that however Big Bad Toy Store does it is wild, because I've been waiting on pre-orders for like month after month after month, and they keep saying, "Oh, it'll be here next month, it'll be here next month, it'll be here next month," and stuff just like takes forever to show up. I don't really know how they do it, but that's their business, not mine. Hey Larry, how's it going, buddy? Back from California, I assume. Um, but I mean, it's really just to say, these products are going to get in hand. These products are amazing, and I'm prepared to wait. I don't really mind. I'm not bothered. I'm not fussed that. I was having a conversation the other day with somebody, and I said, if I'm the last person to get them, I'm really not that bothered, because at the end of the day, like, I'm just excited to get these figures in hand. I don't. Um, it's cool and it's kind of fun to get things first. Uh, but let's be honest. I mean, that if my motivation for buying any of this stuff was to have it first, um, I would constantly be frustrated. I would constantly be complaining, because somebody in the States is going to get it first, or somebody is going to order one from Asia for 4 times the retail price, or something like that. Um, I buy these figures because I love these figures, and that's precisely why I'm happy to wait. Getting them early is a bonus, um, but uh, it's not essential for my enjoyment of these figures. And Larry, you're absolutely right. Then they hit you with stupid custom fees. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing too, is if you're ordering from the US, or you're ordering from Asia, or you're ordering from the UK, or wherever it is, there is always the chance that you're going to get an added bonus charge of customs brokerage, or duties, taxes, customs, VAT, whatever the case may be, depending on sort of where you are. Um, Chris says patience is a virtue in these situations. Alternatively, you can do what I do and just forget they're coming and be surprised in like 2 years when they show up. Yes, I mean, that's kind of it. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Um, and Larry, you're kind of you're jumping the gun here, because this is what I was going to say. Just getting them pre-orders, uh, all that matters for me. Absolutely. The figures are amazing. They're going to be amazing if I get them tomorrow. They're going to be amazing if I get them in September. Um, I'm buying them because they're amazing figures. I'm not buying them because I'm going to be the first one to get them. And so I don't really worry about the street dates. But I also think that, like, um, following the street dates and sort of following in hand can be a little bit. Um, I'm only saying this because I had a great conversation with somebody yesterday who had the revelation that he was chasing, he was kind of chasing everything for the sake of chasing it. There was figures he was buying that he didn't necessarily need, well, he didn't need, and he didn't really want, but he kind of thought, like, well, I mean, it's coming, and so you wake up and you sort of log into a website in anticipation of, like, the time where it's going to be released, and then you bounce to another website to just double check, and then you refresh the page, and then, like, you get the order in, and then you double check that anybody else did, and then it's you're over here and you're over there, and it's like it's everything all at once. And then uh it was that was his day, and and we've all done it. We've all been there. We've all chased a figure. We've all had sort of different experiences and stuff in that respect. Um, I remember when 6 to 8 weeks was an absolute age to wait for mailways as a kid. That's nothing now. Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks is that's like how long it takes to ship things in Canada. So, like, yeah. I mean, something gets shipped expedited from the East Coast. I've shipped things expedited parcel to Newfoundland, which is as far east as you can go in Canada, and I'm not far from as far west as you can go. And it's taken 3 to 4 weeks most of the time, and that's like from when I post it to when he receives it, kind of thing. So 6 to 8 weeks, like, man, That would be a dream. But it brings up another point. It brings up, we are now also getting the classified figures sort of reveal, like the pipeline reveals, like they do with Black Series, which sort of brings up another thing where, like, in a weird way, we kind of feel like we're waiting even longer now. We know that we're getting Zorana, for example, right? But we don't know when. We don't know when it's even going to be like revealed, the physical thing, when it's going to go up for pre-order, and then presumably that pre-order goes in, and then we wait. Like, in a weird way, if you don't like the wait times, it may be getting worse. It is sort of what I'm saying. So I'm like Chris. I mean, I get my pre-orders in usually like as quickly as I can. As I've said, I've told Mike, if classified figures are coming out, invoice me for one of each, and if I need more sort of after the fact, I'll add to my order. But I mean, it's just to say, like, get your orders in and just be happy that the figures are coming, that they're making the figures. Be happy that we're getting GI Joe figures. A few years ago, if you wanted a GI Joe figure, you were going online, whether it was to a GI Joe collectors group or eBay or whatever, trying to find something old. Be thankful that we even have the option of getting new GI Joes. But it also made me think too, because we did a poll, and a lot of people said, I'd love to find them on the shelf. Yes, but wouldn't it be funny if we went that route? What if we went the complete opposite? What if there was no pipeline reveals? What if there was no pre-orders? What if these figures just dropped? Would it be better that you didn't know that you had to wait, or would it be worse because you'd know that they sort of were out there and you couldn't find them? There's no perfect solution, guys, is essentially what I'm saying. Chris says carrier pterodactyl. I mean, if there was a way, right, we could probably get them there sooner, but Larry's already pre-ordered Star Wars Black Series for 2023. Well, I mean, a lot of us have already, I mean, if you're looking at street dates and stuff like that, a lot of us have already ordered 2023 figures, based on the Viper 3-pack Stalker, and like I think those are street dated or whatever for like May or June of 2023. I have said it before, and I stand behind this. I don't think it's going to be that long before we see them. I don't think, if that were the case, then we could, like, if those figures don't come out till 2023, what are we getting for the rest of this year? I don't think the 40th anniversary is going to come and go, and we're not going to get a lot of stuff in hand. There was always that hope. Chris says there was always that hope that eventually the pre-order reveals would be staggered enough for us to start actually getting product around the same time, but that really hasn't transpired yet. Still a lot of issues with the manufacturing, production, shipping chains. Yes, and as somebody that talks with not factories, but talks with sales reps for products that are manufactured in Asia and brought over, I've been told that 2023, it's not going to get fixed in 2023. I don't think it's going to get fixed to the point where we would all like it to be, and probably until at least 2024. So, but that being said, I still think we're going to get lots of product this year. And then he adds, by the same time, I mean, getting the previous revealed stuff in hand as we see new stuff. Yes, I mean, that's the dream, right? Like you get a pre-order in, and then sort of around the time that your pre-order shows up, you've sort of pre-ordered the next one. So there's sort of like I was thinking about that today. Like, I was lucky enough to get Bat and Alley Viper already, Um, but beyond that, like, when's the next time that we're gonna see in-hand figures? I mean, if these all get bumped, like, will we go all year? I just don't see that happening. Um, but we'll see. Larry, I forgot about those. You forgot about which? I'm not sure because we, like I said, we now have sort of so many reveals and sort of so much um, in the pipeline, so to speak, or sort of on pre-order, that it's hard to keep track. I mean, I'm kind of like Chris. Like I know what's coming, but I get my pre-order in and then I just don't worry about it. And when I get a message or an email that says, "Hey, your product's coming," I'm like, "Oh boy, that's great! I'm really excited. I get more figures." Um, but I'm not. Um, I guess I'm not waiting around, and I'm not. When I get an email that says date change, I don't even really. I don't even really read it. On some level, it doesn't register. I'm like, oh, so they're not here yet. Okay, I'm not fussed. I don't really need to know. Larry said the 3-pack waves. I still don't know what you're talking about, Larry. But I mean, what we have upcoming, and these are figures that a number of people have in hand, and I didn't even mention some of them, but Crocmaster, Fiona, Diablo, and Little Georgie are all probably going to arrive sooner rather than later. Then the wave of, I believe this is the wave. They've never quite confirmed it, but Stalker, not Stalker, sorry, Snake, not Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, Spirit, and the Cobra Officer. I believe should be coming sooner rather than later. And then we have the wave of Stalker, Zaymot, and Tomax. And then we have the Viper 3-pack. And then we have that jogs my memory. And then we have the Tiger Force Outback, the Python Patrol Viper, the Python Patrol Bat. So and then on top of that, who knows if there's something sort of thrown in the mix there, if they do Yojo June and do like an exclusive that's available sort of on the spot that we just haven't heard about, whether there's a San Diego Comic-Con release, whether there's some other con exclusive or event exclusive. I mean, we're all assuming that Yojo June will be like the next big reveal. It might not be. We might get something sooner. I mean, I doubt it, but who knows? I would love for that to be the case. It's much easier to do videos when there's more reveals, when there's more news. But yeah, like you said, Chris, we've also got revealed Zorana, Dusty, and Crimson Guard. We've also got I was gonna say, yeah, Dr. Mindbender, Kamakura. We got Tiger Force Wakando, Tiger Force Bazooka, Python Patrol Trooper. No, Python Patrol Officer. What did they name it? I know that it's named and decoed to confuse people. But there's tons of stuff in the works. There's tons of stuff in the pipeline, and we had the reveal in January for the digital renders for Stalker, Zaymot, and Tomax, and then at the live event they did the physical reveals. So I can't help but think that we'll get physical reveals sort of start coming soon on all those other pipeline ones. But there's tons of stuff coming. And the dates mean nothing. I think we've sort of established that the street dates are you can throw the street dates out the window. Like I said, it's not important to me. It's not that big of a deal. But when I found Major Blood at Toys R Us, I hadn't heard of any landing in Canada when I bought the two that they had. to the best of my knowledge, I was the first person, at least in our group, to see them in store. And it wasn't about, chasing a street date. I just happened to be at Toys R Us and he was there. So um, yeah, Chris, I'm with you. I expect a live soon that covers what they revealed digitally last time, and then Yojo June will be brand new stuff. I hope that's true. I think that would be a great way to do it, because um, I think there's a lot of stuff in the works, and I think that I don't think they want to use a digital render to be like a physical reveal for Yojo June. Like, I think they really want to surprise people and show stuff that's brand new that people might not expect. Stuff that maybe is sort of a curveball. Maybe I mean, who knows? But I agree with you, Chris. I do think that they'll show those digital renders in physical form sooner rather than later. And in a certain sense, like clear the decks so that Yojo June can be like a massive event. Or at least that's what I'm hoping for. Dan, who already had let me read this through and then sort of reread it. Dan, who already have a review of the Outback figure on his channel, so I'm hoping it would be out as well soon. I'm not familiar with Dan who, but I have seen, I believe it was On Demand Toys in the UK had the Outback figures in hand. Not a ton of them, so they may be sort of trickling out. This might be sort of the first shipment of many. Larry said, look at the street date for the Bat and Alley Viper of July, but most of us, I think you mean most of us, got them in February. Great example, right? Like the part of it too is that like Chris, yeah, it was In Demand Toys. Some street dates, I guess, are more accurate than others. But that depends on where you are. If it's a Target exclusive, then the street date at Target may be that date, but it might not be if you're at Toys R Us in Canada or in demand toys in the UK. So it just matters. It just sort of depends on where you're buying from. It depends on the relationship that the retailer has with Hasbro. It's a little bit different for everything. Tyler just checked his Target orders today. September 2023 is the estimated for Python Patrol and Tiger Force. Like, I just don't see that happening, right? Like, I think on some level too, there might be, and Marvin's just thrown the link in there. If you guys want to watch that video. I think there might be on the part of Hasbro and Target and some of these retailers, like, he's corrected it, 2022, but still September 2022. There's no way it's going to be September. If there's some of them in hand somewhere, there's lots of them somewhere else, is what I'm saying. They don't make them in batches of 10 or 100 or 1,000. They make them in batches of like tens of thousands. I think it's more, in the same way that like in the US there was an app that I'm forgetting what the app is called, but effectively like you could see the live inventories for different retailers and locations, and in the last little bit, Target just shut the app off from their live inventory because I suspect they just got tired of people harassing them for like, is it here yet? Is it here yet? It says that it's here. It says that you've got it. If you haven't yet, you probably should go and watch the Full Force Weekly. I didn't get a chance to watch it yesterday, so I watched it this morning and I forgot to share the link. But the Full Force Weekly, Patrick Stewart, not Picard, I should remind everybody. Patrick Stewart mentions that he went to Target like 9 days in a row to get a particular Transformers figure because it said that it had it and it said that they should. But different employees don't know, and maybe it's street dated, and maybe it's in a different section, or maybe it's on a cart to go out, and like it's just like um it's the struggle. The struggle is real. I know, Chris. How dare I apologize. I normally post that link on Saturday morning right after I watch it. Um but I had to drive to Vancouver and back, which is about an 8 hour round trip yesterday. So I didn't get a chance to watch it yesterday morning. You should always watch the Full Force Weekly. I absolutely agree with you. If you think that what I do is at all interesting, then I think you'd absolutely love the Full Force Weekly, because it's a little bit it's production value is a little bit higher than what we do here. So I would strongly recommend you guys watch it. I watch it every week, and then basically pick up, what what they what they're talking about, and do the live video often with some of that. So immediately, no excuses. Yeah, agreed. There's 8 people watching. Feel free for all of you. You're all welcome to all leave, go and watch that, and then watch this later. Because this is available, on Facebook after the fact, or on YouTube after the fact as well. Um, I think most of the videos on YouTube get 1 view, because I watch them back just to see how terrible they are. Um, but anyway, it's I don't know why I do them on YouTube, but Chris, Tyler watched it twice, so I guess that counts, once for me and once for him. But then I did actually watch it. Like I said, I watched it this morning. So, and I watch it at home on one YouTube account, and then I actually watch it at work on Mondays on another YouTube account. And so you get 2 views and 2 likes from me. Um, it's fantastic, and it's always entertaining, always informative. Um, and always upbeat, always positive. You're never gonna get the sort of toxic take of like, oh, I can't believe the street date got changed. Oh no, I need my toys now. I always think of you guys know in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the girl that just needs everything now. Um, what's her name? But she turns what she gets sucked. What she gets sucked up. What's the tragic end for her? Oh, she falls down the hole, doesn't she? Because she wants a goose. Anyway, don't be like that girl. Be patient. Um, I will take this opportunity now to actually remind everybody that, and bear with me, I did just double check this before I jumped on here. Um, eCollectibles still has all the pre-orders. If you haven't got your pre-orders in yet, go get them now, because I know that as soon as these start landing, they're going to get super hard to find, because that's always the way. So if you haven't yet, go to eCollectibles and get your orders in, and you can thank me later, because there it is. Yep. Veruca Salt. That's the one. I couldn't remember her name. I watched that clip just the other day, just in reaction to like hearing all the comments of people kind of complaining about street dates and complaining about like, ordering from overseas and on and on and on. And it just reminded me so much of that movie. It's collectors are that, like those kids in a nutshell, right? You're one of those kids. You're greedy, or you're sneaky, or you're like whatever. And even even with the main kid who's like more or less good, but he's gonna take the gobstopper, right? We all, I might not talk about like the difficulties or the frustrations or whatnot, but I still have those feelings. Everybody does. It's whether or not we spend all of our time venting about that and talking about that. And I choose not to. I choose fun. And I choose getting enjoyment out of these. So Marvin said, also, I hope some of the guys here took advantage of huge sale from Zed Collectibles from the $10 Gung Ho Flint and Lady J. Yeah, I mean, it's I'm Augustus Gloop. He gets sucked up the chocolate fountain tube, right? Is that right? I think that's his fitting end. The glutton. Yeah. But Marvin, yeah, there was a bunch of people were doing sort of a flash sale. I think Toy Snowman did one, and then Outrun jumped on, and Zed jumped on, and everybody was blowing out classified figures. The problem is I already have like multiples of all of them. Like I couldn't bring myself to buy more of the same figures. But the prices were phenomenal, absolutely. So true. We've all been there, sucked up the chocolate fountain. We've all been bloated from blueberry. We've all been bloated like blueberries. We've all been dropped down the goose tube. We've all. There's one more, and I can't. Oh, we've all been pixelated and set through a TV. Larry said, I saw Gung Ho at my local Toys R Us, so that means they got the new wave. Yeah, isn't that like the most bittersweet thing though? When you see a Gung Ho on a shelf where you didn't see one last week, you know that they got 3 bats, 2 alley vipers, and a Gung Ho, but you didn't get any of them. Chris, pretty sure I post my videos on GooseTube. Well, maybe is that a platform that should I be using GooseTube as well? Or BlueTube for the what was there was a name for like when they pixelated that kid. There was a name for what they're doing. That would be I'm gonna start using that as a cultural reference that people won't get. GloopTube. All these new platforms are just springing up out of nowhere, like and you get on these, man, and your channel is on a new level, I'll tell you. But and that level is, of course, the Snake Eyes level. Anyway, that's all I had. What do you guys want to talk about? What do you guys got? I'm sure Chris will have something. And what else? You know what? There's probably more people watching that than anything else. I don't know if it's I don't know if that's the crowd that you want to draw, though. Just saying. Although I have heard some collectors when there was a big fiasco about YouTube starting to censor videos, when they started enforcing the like for kids, not for kids, monetizing stuff. Sorry. I did hear some people that were like panicking, and they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna just use all those different platforms because it's because they don't filter anything." So you'd still get your payments or whatever. But I don't know what I mean. Look, this is going on to YouTube. I have no idea. Like, I joked with somebody. I was like, well, I don't know when my check for 3 cents will show up, but I'm really looking forward to it. I don't even think you get anything below a certain threshold, but Chris would love to know what type of teams you would like to see covered next in Classified, winter, underwater, etc. That is a great question. But before that, we'll just Larry, awesome, probably very lucrative to work for those guys. Which types of teams would you like to see? I don't know. That's a funny thing because, like, I've said this before. If I get sort of one underwater figure, I need like 3 or 4. I don't want one. I don't want so I want like waves. So I would like to see a winter wave or an underwater wave or a desert wave or a jungle wave or like a high-tech wave or like whatever. I love that they did Spirit with Storm Shadow because to me that's, you're getting a figure that sort of offsets another figure. Now I know a lot of people say, Storm Shadow Snake Eyes, but from the cartoon, those figures go perfectly together. Which is to say that, if we were to get, say, wetsuit. So my choice for underwater, I would like to see wetsuit because I think the colors would be absolutely amazing. I know a lot of people would like to see torpedo. And then I would like to see an eel. So if we got, wetsuit and or torpedo with an eel in a wave, that would be amazing. And Tyler says here, summer is coming, so water wave, winter brings a winter wave. I would love that. I think the big problem there is what we were talking about before. The logistics of like making sure that something lands at the right time is maybe not in the cards for 2023. Chris wants a Hydro Viper. I mean, and Chris also says eels up inside you. Now, if you know what that reference is, good for you, and you and I would probably get along very well, as Chris and I do. If you don't know what that reference is from a fantastic British show called The Mighty Boosh. If you've never heard of it or you've never watched it, just check out a few clips. Just type into like the YouTube search "eels up inside ya," and if you like it, that's basically what the show is. It's amazing if it suits your sense of humor. It's completely absurd if it doesn't. There's another Bush reference, finding an entranceway again. Yeah, the Mighty Bush. It's not for everyone. If you enjoy Bailey's out of a boot, you'd probably like it. If that sounds odd to you, maybe steer very clear of it. Scott says snow job and polar bear. That would be interesting. I think what you mean is the battle bear. Isn't that called the battle bear? I assume you mean the vehicle. Again, if we get snow job, that would be great. If we got sort of snow job and or iceberg and or one of the other winter joes, as well as a snow serpent, like if we get them sort of in waves or in sort of clusters, I'm all in. If I get snow job in July and we don't have any other winter figures, it's cold and snowy here in the winter, so I'll buy them. And I've even said, as soon as they come out, the most generic Arctic figure that they come out with, I'll probably buy a few, and then I can do head swaps and have a whole sort of Arctic team. But yeah, Blizzard and then Tiger Force. Tiger Force Blizzard is one of the most odd combinations when you take a winter figure and put them in yellow and orange camouflage. Ooh, some of those combos, as amazing as they are, didn't make any sense at all. Oh yes, Marvin. I just hope they have the Ninja Force out next. Whether it's out next or whether it's next year or whether it's 2025, I honestly don't care. But I would love to see the Ninja Force, and I would love to see sort of like, I don't think I want the battle action where you kind of pull back the arm and then fling it forward. But that Sartan, the Scarlet. We've effectively already got the Storm Shadow. That Snake Eyes is a good deco. Yeah, that I would love to see those. Chris, I would love them to do retro card back Ninja Force. I would love all of the sub teams to be on like the retro card backs. And the reason that I say that is because if they're sort of calling back to figures from 20 years ago, I think the standard release ones, two reasons that I want that actually. The standard release ones are fantastic, and that's their platform to sort of come up with the new figures, the new decos, the updates, all that kind of stuff. When you're doing the retro stuff, even if you use the standard release and then sort of paint it that way, amazing. The other reason that I really want that is they're not numbered. So if you're doing, for example, the Tiger Force Recondo, I would love to see the Tiger Force Recondo on a retro card back, because then he won't be numbered. And then if I don't get him, it won't affect a complete numbering set. Now, I'm not buying the figures as a completist, but so far I've got all of them. That and who am I kidding? I'm gonna buy all of them, so it doesn't really matter in the end. But I would just love to see. I would just love to see those card backs. I would love to see, the Tiger Force card backs, the Night Force, the Python Patrol, the Ninja Force, Eco Warriors, like all the different colors of card back. And I don't keep things on card, but if they were to announce that that was sort of their intention and they were going to do it that way, I'd probably pick one from each wave, from each group, to keep on card, right? And just have like not 40 on card figures, but sort of like 6 or 8 on card figures, just to represent the different card backs and stuff. I know that with the retro we got the file cards. I was never a big fan of the file cards, and to be honest, when I look at those file cards, woof. 5 languages, you don't get any. It's all jammed in there. It's tiny. They gave the people what they wanted, and I question whether or not people are gonna like approve of those once they actually get them. That'll be another point for people to complain about. Frostbite should come with the Polar Battle Bear, since he won't come with a Tiger Cat. That's a good point. That's a very good point. The likelihood that we actually see a Tiger Cat, I think it's too big. I think it's not. It's not obscure at all. I mean, everybody had a Tiger Cat or multiples. But I think you're absolutely right that in the 6-inch scale, we probably won't get one. So a vehicle driver, I think that's the best way for them to do vehicle drivers, right? Like I want vehicle drivers in the line, but the likelihood that we get a Night Raven, right? I would love a Strato Viper, but I want him to be able to fly something. So if a Strato Viper came with, like a smaller flying Cobra vehicle, that would be an amazing way to do it. Chris says they could use some of Kamakura for a slice figure too, and I think between the sort of ninjas that we've got, between the Snake Eyes, the couple different Storm Shadows, the Kamakura, even incorporating maybe some of the movie figures in terms of the molds, reusing those molds. I can't imagine that they're going to do those movie figures and not try to like reuse those molds in some way. Problem with them doing Tiger Force retro card backs is that you're dealing with 2 separate retailer exclusives. Yes, I know. And I mean, I understand that it's not going to happen. I just wish it could, is all. I just wish that it wasn't, that there wasn't so much going on where, I mean, the Tiger Force and Python Patrol stuff does technically come in exclusive packaging. It is different packaging from the standard line, for what it's worth. But it's the same but different. I don't know. Strato Viper with Claw, that would be a good one. I feel like the Claw, I would rather see the Claw with like if we don't get a Stinger, I could see like the Strato Viper with the Stinger driver. If they don't do like the Viper glider pilot, because I don't think we're going to get a glider. I think if we're going to get anything like that, it would be the Claw. And I think if we got the Claw, you could sort of use that vehicle driver, quote unquote vehicle driver. He didn't drive it; it was a flyer. But I'm completely drawing a blank. And they even did one in the retro modern Walmart. The little helicopter. Why can't I remember the name of the bloody thing? I'm thinking Strato Viper in something like that. But I'd like to see Wild Weasel as well. I don't think we're going to get a Rattler. So then it's sort of like, how many small to medium-sized vehicles can you put a pilot in? Um, the on the GI Joe side too. Thank you, Chris. The Fang. Yeah, I would love to see the Fang with one of the pilots. Um, but then vehicles as well, right? Like I would love to get. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I would love to get a Vamp. I really hope that we see like a HasLab. Well, no, I really hope we see a regular release Vamp. But if we're only going to get vehicles through HasLab, I would love to see Clutch with a Vamp. Now, if we don't get a Vamp, Clutch with, something would be nice. Who else? Vehicle driver. I mean, there's so many good vehicle drivers. I don't think we're going to get a Mobat. I don't think we're going to get. I honestly don't think we're going to get a Sky Striker. I don't think we're going to get, a Conquest. I don't think we're going to get anything that's that big. I think the Vamp or the His Tank are probably like as big as we're going to see. Chris, so the Silver Mirage motorcycle is a funny one because I hope that if they do it, they make it so that it falls apart when you play with it like the vintage one. But I don't know how marketable it would be if they were like, yeah, and we made it with all the flaws of the original. Yeah, designing it to have flaws might not be the route that they should go. But it's like getting Copperhead or Wild Weasel without their stuff. Yeah, that's my feeling. That like we're not going to get a Night Raven. We're not going to get a 5-foot long plane, which the Strato Viper came with, which the Strato Viper is sort of connected to. But I don't want to pilot if I don't have something for them to fly. And I've said that before. In the same way that I talk about, this is our tangent of the question, which types of sort of figures would you want? I don't want vehicle pilots unless I get vehicles. The Wild Weasel Deco is great. The Strato Viper Deco is great. But I would much rather see different kinds of Viper. Like I'd much rather see. I would love to see, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one here. I would love to see a deluxe release, 2-pack Televiper with like a computer and like 2 little chairs, like so that you can set them up in like a little dio, and just really like you could get an extreme sets play set with like a deluxe sort of playset 2-pack Televipers. Oh, that'd be so great. Not for everybody. I mean, a lot of people look at the Televiper and they're like, that would be a waste of a spot, is what I would hear probably from people that don't like that one. Shark with Deep Six, yes. To me, that's kind of the only way I would want Deep Six. But I struggle because I feel like the underwater ones, you could only, I mean, I guess you could set up an underwater dio or play with them in the tub or whatever, but I'm probably not going to. So I gravitate more towards the land-based ones. Firebat with AVAC, that would be awesome. And I think that would be one that I think is the right size. It's a small to medium. Televipers for life for sure. I would love Televipers. You know what else I would love? Now this is more something that like Super 7 could do with the Ultimates. I would love to see interchangeable goggles with like different messages on them. But like backwards, right? Because it's projected on the thing. Technovipers, I would love to see Technovipers. There's so many Vipers. Like there's so many troop builders from Cobra that I would love to see. And the weird thing is my long list of figures on the Cobra side, I have way less named characters and way more troop builders. I'm happy to get the named ones because I usually buy one to sort of keep as is, and then one for kit bashing fodder. With any troop builders, I usually buy like multiples and then sort of extras on top of that. So from a price perspective, I'm happy to not get all the troop builders all the time. Yes, mainframe would also need his massive laptop. It's not even a laptop. It's like it's bigger than a suitcase and it's huge. But I would love to see that. Um, yeah, there's so many. If they updated him, he would basically come with an iPad. I don't think so. He would come with an iPhone because I'm pretty sure that everything that mainframe did, he could do with a phone now and more. Um, I mean, he's a redundancy, isn't he? At this point, isn't everybody like technologically capable? I mean, if I can do this, I'm pretty sure that anybody can. And if I can do this, am I not mainframe? Um, no, mainframe didn't have a beard. I was just thinking to myself, oh, that's okay. So, okay, what if they updated him and there was like and the backstory was that he had like some sort of like implants, like cybernetic implants. Like maybe he doesn't need the equipment. Maybe he is the equipment. I don't know that I'd want him to be an AI so much as like an augmented human. Just a thought. Oh, and now Chris has turned into a bot, and he is just gonna spam. Outpack backpack in the Tiger Force release is huge. They could do a They could do a laptop for mainframe. So while one character is going one direction, the other character is going in the other direction in terms of like the size of sort of how their stuff works. But maybe there's more to it, right? Like maybe there's more. Maybe they sort of explain what he has. Maybe he has different gear. Maybe his gear isn't just sort of like radio gear anymore. Maybe there's like more tech connected to it, more tech involved. What about you guys? I think a lot of people are saying like winter. Like I've seen a lot of people saying snow job and the battle bear. I was correcting my error and thought I deleted the last one in time. No, it just came through like 3 times. Um, just in different formats, I guess. Maybe there was like a Android compatible and an iOS compatible comment. I'm not sure. Um, we're right about at an hour. If anybody's got maybe one more thing, we'll sneak it in and then we'll call it a day. Anybody? Anybody got anything? Nothing? That's it? All tapped out? Well, I mean that works for me because we're right at an hour. I gotta go. I gotta go fix a bunch of holes in a wall because we got to get the nursery up and running. We're a few weeks away now, so. Anyone? Anyone? Chris is all done. Okay, that's good. That's good. We know. Tyler, should I get another kilo fig? And then he said Kiki, and then he said Kiko. I think you mean Akiko. Chris said Akiko. I nearly did. I was gonna get one, and then I think she sold out. But I love that figure. I think that's a fantastic figure, and I think it could be customized and kit bashed really well as well. My only complaint is the narrow heels. I don't like those narrow heeled figures for trying to get them to stand properly. But Chris said yes is the answer. I don't disagree. I didn't get doubles of any of the movie figures, but if I was going to get doubles of any of them, I would get a Kiko and Scarlet for sure. Those two, I think, are. It's a shame that those two took forever to come out because those are the best figures in that wave. Anyways, that's an hour, guys. and that's what I was shooting for. So on that note, enjoy the rest of your weekends for what it's worth. I mean, the last few hours of it. Um, they should have called her Jinx. Well, but then people will be confused when they did come out with a Jinx, because you know they're going to come out with a Jinx. Larry, I'm still waiting for mine. It's sitting on an order from ages 3 and up. Yeah, that's people got them late. People didn't get them at all. It is what it is. Chris says, thanks for the stream. Been fun. I'm about to record another Patreon Intel. I can't wait. If you guys aren't aware, Chris from the Full Force Podcast has a Patreon group. And if you want to be in the know, if you want the knowledge, the foresight of what's coming up, man, I always have to hold myself back, because there's some amazing stuff coming in this line, you guys. That anyways, on that note, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Like I said, if you haven't already, go over to eCollectibles and get pre-orders in for the next couple of waves. They are still available. And other than that, have a great day, and we will see you next Sunday again. And hope you guys can all join me for that. And yeah, thanks a ton. And it was a blast.